All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Makar Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. And this is going to be, Lord willing, a quick video on how it's a sin to look at another man's wife with a lustful eye, because that's being covetous, right? When it speaks in the Bible about how if you look at another man's wife with a if you look at a woman with a lustful eye, it's a sin. The sin in that situation is because it could be another man's wife, right? It's not because you're looking at a woman in general with a lustful eye. It's because you're looking at another man's wife with a lustful eye. So let me go to this, right? Because that's a sin. And in this world, that happens in abundance, man. If any of you brothers out there on one of a day when you've got some free time, well, so-called free time or whatever, right? And you decide to go somewhere nice, right? And you take a woman out there, whatever, right? And men are looking at your woman, which that's what men do in this world, right? Them men are being covetous, right? And vice versa. If us as men, we fall into that too. And that's why it should really just be a rule in this world where, especially if a woman, is walking down the street with a buggy or with little children or something like that, men shouldn't even look at her like that, because the children should be a sign she's got a man. Whereas in this world, women with children and stuff like that, they're sometimes more desires to seek attention from men than women that don't have children, man. It's bogged out down here. But let me read this. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 17. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. But in this world, man, right, you'll have some neighbor that lives in exactly the same kind of household as you, and they'll be coveting because they might think your garden is like 1 centimeter bigger than their garden, right? Or because whatever, the sun don't, excuse me, because the sun don't hit their garden the same as yours. Oh, the sun shines brighter in their garden. I'm covetous on that, right? I know for damn sure in this world, be covetous over another man's wife, right? This world's all about that, man. And that's why when you hear about judgments falling upon these people, don't feel sorry for them a lot of the time, because they've been covetous and they had desires to be an adulterer. And if the opportunity arose, they would have been an adulterer. And that's why Yahweh Shai said, you've already committed adultery in your heart, because just let the situation arise for some of these people and they'd be down for some adultery around here. They ain't going to be like, nah, it's against the scriptures. They ain't going to say that. They ain't going to think about the Lord. They ain't going to, when they see something go down, be like, you know what? I shouldn't do that because that's another man's wife. There's some of these people are going to do it more because it's another man's wife. And in this world so wicked that they try and make out like a man that's married to a woman, either in the biblical sense or in this earthly realm's sense, right? Sense that he's evil for being jealous over his wife when, mate, that's his wife. Of course he's going to be bothered if somebody else is trying to deal with his wife. That's his wife. He's supposed to be bothered by somebody else trying to be with her. That's his woman. Right? Nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is not neighbors. You're not supposed to be worrying about what's going on with no next man's life to the point of trying to want it for your own self. But in this world, that happens all the time. And one of the main ways it happens is with women. Now, if a man sees a woman when she's by herself and he don't know that she's married or whatever, that she's got a man, that's different than how it is most of the time in this world, where men see a man with his woman and they start overly looking at the woman for super long times. And then it starts getting even more weird when they start looking at the man that she's with, thinking, I'm better than him. I'm better than that man. I deserve her then instead of him. No, who are you to say that? Who are you to say that, man? And I was listening to one of these jakes that do these talks on these women and that, and he said when there was a time when he was dating like a super attractive so-called black woman, right? That knew she was attractive. It felt like he was having an invisible battle, an invisible battle with most of the men that he saw, man. And I can understand what he's talking about with that, because that's how it is in this world. Even when the woman's just whatever the woman looks like, man. Or even when men, even if it's not even necessarily your woman, it could be just a woman in general. That men will be having an invisible battle between every other man around to try and see who's gonna win her. You know what I mean? It could just be you go to the gym and it just so happens to be a woman that walks into the gym. Now everyone's trying to do a 1 rep max day all of a sudden in the gym or whatever. You know what I mean? Now someone sees you doing an exercise and now they want to do that exercise, or somebody, you know what I mean? Or now they've got to show their strength and their worth for that woman's attention, man. That's how it goes in this world, man. It's because of covetousness and wickedness. This world is ultimately, it's just a hell of a place, man. It's just demonic, bro. Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 32. But whosoever committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. So all you adulterers out there, mate, you're weirdos, really. And some of you people start liking a woman more in this world because you see who a man is. Which, what's that about then? Because if you was to see that woman, some of you people that are covetous about women and that, and you so-called think you so desire this woman, a lot of your mans wouldn't even care about that woman as much if it wasn't for who her husband is. So what are you really about then? If that's the case, what are you really under? There's something weird going on there. But whoso committeth adultery with a woman lack of understanding, he that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. You're lacking understanding when you commit adultery, because you're allowing that woman that you think's attractive to vanquish your opportunities to get into the kingdom of heaven with the righteous honor. Verse 33, a wound and a dishonor will he get. Nobody can't once someone finds that you're an adulterer, you can't trust that person. I've been around Jakes before and they start telling me all their stories about, oh yeah, one time. And then you just start hearing what they're saying and you're like, raw. So you slept with man's wife like that, bruv. You think you can trust that person now? You think that person's going to be invited anywhere near you after you hear them spewing out all that? If you invite a person like that around by your woman, they're going to be saying hello to her, but they're going to be trying to say hello with that extra lip bite going on and all that. Because that's how this world is, man. And then if you was to leave and go somewhere, they're going to start talking with your woman and they're going to start trying to holler. That's how them Jakes are. It's a demon on them. And that's how men in this world are. It's a demon on them. Because some of them wouldn't have, a lot of men wouldn't have on this adultery, they wouldn't have the confidence to talk to the woman is a sinner by herself. But then they start, it's for some reason, I don't understand why, for some reason, they get more confidence knowing that the woman is not single. It doesn't make any sense. The confidence should come from a woman being single. But this world's so wicked that men have got more confidence to try and holler at a woman that's got a husband. And they say that that's the easiest ones to get. And that's why the judgment of adultery is supposed to be enacted out on this earth, man. And I'm doing this video because you start to notice certain things in this world, man. But sometimes you might just be out by yourself and you see a woman walking down the street, yeah, with her husband, and then you'll see some next man just be watching her overly, and you'll be like, raw, the adultery thing is real big in this world, man. You start to notice how heavy adultery is in this world and how nobody don't care. Nobody in this world thinks adultery is a crime, is a sin. Until it happens to them, of course. Verse 34, for jealousy is the rage of man, therefore he will not spare in a day of vengeance. And most men in this world are prepared to protect their woman, right? Even a coward, a man that's normally a coward in most situations, when it comes to his woman, he'll be prepared to take it there at a certain degree, man. He'll even at the most defend his woman with his mouth, man. Verse 35, he will not regard any ransom, neither will he rest content, though thou givest many gifts. You can't sleep with another man's wife and then try and offer him some tithes money or something like that. Mate, he ain't gonna want that. If a man catches you in the bed with his wife, you ain't gonna basically be like, yo, fam, I apologize, brother. What's your cash at, brother? Mate, nah. That's not gonna happen. So it's better for people to really not do the adultery. Don't be covetous. When you're seeing a man walking down the street with his woman, just don't even look at her. Like, like, you're actually sinning when you're doing that anyway. If you're looking at it with extreme lust in your eye, there's a difference between, oh, you see a woman and you think she's attractive, whatever, and then you find that she's got a man, and then a man shows up next to her and then you just look away. There's a difference. Then you clearly can tell that a man's with a woman, and then you still just keep overly, you know what I mean? But I'm not saying that brothers out there do that, but I'm just doing this video to like talk about this topic because it's a big deal thing, man. It's a thing that's very heavy in this world. The whole adultery and covetousness thing, man. Right? Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 24. Keep thee from evil women, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman. Lust not after her beauty in thine heart, neither let her take thee with her eyelids. And in this world, some women try and take men with their eyelids, man. Some women try and set men up with the adultery thing. Some women might be about to get married, and they're like, okay, so I'm about to get married now. And then now that they've got that wedding ring on their finger, they start overly now looking in men's face because, and they start looking at men like, oh, you see that man there, that's one that I never got to have the chance with now, and that one's one I'm never gonna to have a chance with as well, and that one, oh, and he's quite handsome as well, but I'm never gonna have a chance with that one as well once I get married. And then they start thinking in their mind, well, okay, well, since I'm not technically fully married, and this is talking about this earthly way, since I'm not technically fully married and I ain't gone down the aisle, I'm just going to try and do my last few madnesses. And then they usually in this society do it on that hen night, man. But it's this world so off that sometimes that adultery be happening on the damn wedding night. Hell, it's hell down here, man. And then whenever these things happen to a man, he's ultimately told to get over it, man. But where's going to be such righteous leaders in the kingdom of heaven that we ain't going to make heathens have to deal with that? If one of our heathen servants, man, right, one of our heathen slaves has got a situation where a woman's committed adultery on him, she's not getting away with that. And neither is a man getting away with committing adultery. A man's not going to get away with stealing. We're going to rule over the world in righteousness. Whereas in this world, these heathen don't give us the same gratitude, man. Now, I ain't going to make it like we're just there to make the heathens' lives better. No, they're going to have to pay for the evil that they've did towards us. But the point I'm making is that we're going to rule over this earth properly, the proper way, the righteous way. Verse 26, for by means of a whorish woman, a man is brought to a piece of bread. Right? Women in this world, they try and set men up. They might have got with one geezer, right? And they'll be setting men up in a different way. They might have got with one guy, right? And then it didn't work out. He just didn't want him no more. And then now they ain't told you that they just recently broke up with a guy though. And then now they want to try and invite you and try and suggest places. Oh, we should go out here. We should go out here for lunch. I think we should go here. And they'll try and walk you into, walk your ass to getting your ass whooped, man. They'll try and invite you to the peak time when she knows her ex would be in this particular place. Oh, this is going to make him jealous. And then now you're just like a scapegoat for her to try and get back with her ex. Or whatever the hell happens in this world, man. This world's all the way crazy. And some of these things I said could be things that men will know, man. Not every single situation that I even have to say, or any of the situations that I've even said, have to be something that I personally have went through. But we know what happens in this world, man. We know the things that take place in this earth. Verse 26 again. For by means of a whorish woman, A man is brought to a piece of bread. Men end up through when a woman commits adultery, and a man could take like a decade sometimes to recover after a woman's committed adultery, and at least half a decade to a certain degree, man. Right? Shit, man, 18 years according to in Babylon, it might take if a woman gets a man on that child support, or he put his name on the birth certificate because he thought it was his child. In 18 years now, she got his ass. And if she could, she'd have him on it forever. He's till he drops into the grave, man. If she could, and that's by a whorish woman. A man is brought to a piece of bread, and the adulteress will hunt for the precious life. Some of these women try and desire to get men that, well, they do. They desire for the high value man, the precious life, right? The man that's doing all right in life. You know what I mean? His life's precious. He's got the best of the best. Ain't Mr. Cannon, Shannon the Cannon. No, not Shannon the Cannon. Shay. You know what I mean? Ain't he got a situation going off right now? 25K a cheek and all that she's talking about. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. A woman says that something's happened to her, yeah, and she says you want 50 million. But hey, we ain't here to I ain't here to say who did or didn't do nothing. But how comes it is whenever these things take place that people never want people to go to jail if they did them like that, right? Shouldn't the victim want the person to go to jail then? Why do they always want money? Yet people try and complain about the scriptural law about if a man does that to a woman, that now has to become his wife for the rest of his life. But then when a woman, if she says, oh, and he has to pay the father, people got a problem with the way it is in the Bible, but then they ain't got a problem with, oh, she had that done to him, and that's absolutely brutal. So 50 million. You know what I mean? What about then if after a man was to do that to a woman, then is it righteous then if after he does it, he's like, okay, sorry about that, love. I don't know what came over me, and just throws some money down. Is that righteous then? Obviously, this world in Eastern society is trying to basically say so, because the only way how they always seem to find a solution to this thing happening that they say take place is always financial all the time. You know what I mean? But anyway, man, verse 28, no, verse 27. Can a man take fire in his bosom and his clothes not be burned? Can one go upon hot coals and his feet not be burned? So he that goeth into his neighbor's wife, whosoever touch of her shall not be innocent. Exactly. And that's one of the reasons why the apostles are saying, yo, allow the Israelite woman, man, bond that, get yourself and they're really saying, without saying it, right, to get a woman that's an Israelite but don't look like a J. That's what they're really saying. But some of you people are getting bugged out, and mate, even if they are saying get an actual heathen woman, mate, so what if they're saying get a snow bunny, man? Because you might not like a snow bunny. What about a sand bunny? Hey, Salakia, what about a sand bunny? You know what I mean? What about an Asian bunny, man? What about a noodle bunny? Yeah, it's not just some people might not want a snow bunny, mate. They might want a noodle bunny or a sand bunny, mate. Because in the kingdom of heaven, what the hell do you think that Israelite man's gonna have? Every woman that he desires, he's gonna have, man. But this world, man, he just wants people to us to be stuck. Mate, this is what we deserve at the moment, to be going through all of this anyway. But what about when it changes over and be on the other way? What about that part? What's gonna be happening then when we live in the kingdom way? Verse 29 again, so he that goeth into his neighbor's wife, whosoever touch of her shall not be innocent. So you ain't innocent even when you're coveting. Never mind when you actually go through with what your covetous desires are of committing adultery. Right? The scriptures is clear. The law on adultery is clear, man. right? And that's an evil in your mind that you're supposed to rebuke, right? It's an evil event to rebuke that, man. But in this world, people love doing that, man. A man takes his woman out, yeah, and the next thing you know, it's just all adultery, 24/7 out here. A man take his woman to the restaurant, the damn waiter's trying to holler. You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous down here. A man takes his woman to the nightclub or whatever, and she's twerking off on everyone else. You know what I mean? Like, a man takes his wife to a concert. Oh, I know she likes Jay Weezy for Heezy, and he's got a new album out. Jay Smooth or whatever. That might be a real musician, man. Whatever the musicians' names are, man. I'm gonna take her out there, and then the next thing you know, she's on stage giving him a lap dance or whatever bugged out and that's going on out here, man. So even the women are covetous. Matthew chapter 15 and verse 19, for out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murderers, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witness, blasphemies, right? Adultery's in the mind. You have to rebuke that. You don't, and adultery begins with covetous. Now, can there be accidental adultery? Yes. But really, if there's a woman that's super fine, yeah, and everyone's got their own subjective what that might mean to them, yeah, mate, if a woman is super attractive, mate, you almost know she's already got a man, really. She ain't no virgin. And she ain't just been floating through the world single, neither. But most people in this society, these men and that, they don't want to ask that because they don't want to find out the answer. But that's not the way how Israelites do it though. Or the ones that are hoping to be of the elect anyway. We're against the adultery, man. Hoping to be people that are hoping to be of the elect. We're against adultery. It angers us to even hear about other men's dealings in the adultery thing, man. It angers us. If we hear about another man dealing with adultery, we don't really think it's funny. Whereas in the world, that them kind of stories sound funny some of the time, and people laugh, ha ha ha. Your woman left you, ha ha ha, as if any man in this world hasn't really had a woman leave them before, or hasn't had a woman that they liked and was doing whatever they was doing with her, and then the woman bounces. How many men have never dealt with that before, or women that they wanted that didn't want them back. How many men? What man on earth can really say that they haven't had no situation with women that's ever lived on earth? King Solomon was the ultimate when it comes to dealing with women. Could he say that he didn't have any problem with women, or did he say that he finds more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, which is facts? A woman's mind is snares and nets, man. And they do things to make men covet after them. That's why when you got this whole red pill thing, so many of the women that go on there say that they wouldn't give up their Instagram if their man asked them to. So they've chose a man. I mean, their Instagram over their husband. How ridiculous is that? Or they've chose and choose their high heels over a man. Or they'll say he's only 5'9". These times they're 5'3", and he's 6 inches taller than them. Oh, he's only 5'9". Oh, he's only 5'8". How tall are you? I'm 5'2". Okay, so he's what, 6 inches taller than you? But you're calling him short. But then, but then women don't want men to compare them to other women. But they compare themselves to other women. But you know what, man? This world, man. Like I can like as time goes on more and more, you know. And this is me talking to the people that believe in Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai now. And if there's anybody new out there, you'll eventually start to understand this too. If there's anyone new even hearing about these kind of things, right? As time goes on more and more, you start to really understand why Yahweh made the laws that he made. You start to truly understand that the laws of Yahweh is the perfect way. Because under the laws of Yahweh, if someone commits adultery against you, right, they don't just get away with that, and then now you're left with that sour attack to your soul, man, and they're just able to sail off into the sunset. Not according to the scriptures, they're not allowed to do that. Maybe according to this world, but not according to the eyes of the Lord. Not according to the eyes of the Lord. Adultery is not made to be let slide, man, in the eyes of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. That's not acceptable. And neither is it acceptable to be covetous on another man's wife, on another man's car, on another man's house, on another man's job, on another man's financial success, right? On another man's nationality. You, Christianity, you're covetous on our nationality. You're trying to make everyone be an Israelite and talking about the church is Israel. No, it ain't. Oh, Christianity is Israel now. No, it ain't. How is that? How did Christianity somehow come out of a son of Jacob's loins? How does that happen? It's only for Israel, man. But I don't want to make this lesson be about that. I just wanted to talk about this whole covetous thing because as you start to see things more and more, you see how the covetous thing, man, is a big deal, man. Men think that they're better than another man in some way. Oh, I'll make more than him for a living. I deserve that woman. That's not how it works, mate. He met her before you. Unfortunately, now you're gonna have to just get. Unfortunately, mate, you're gonna have to get another woman. Oh, if only I could. I'ma show her that I'm a better man than him. It's not gonna work, geezer. But you know what though? In this world, sometimes that does work, right? But then what have you really gained if you are able to get her by coveting after another man's wife and you're able to actually get that woman? What have you really got but an adulterous woman? What did you really gain apart from your own sealing onto your destruction that's going to be waiting, pending over your head? What did you really get? And that's why it says, let me go back to it. That's why it says, he that committeth adultery sinneth against his own soul, because when the adultery succeeded, you're going to have to get destroyed. So the first moment you kiss her on her mouth, even, that's it. It's began, mate. But really, before that, the moment you even walked over to her, but really before that, because it began with Salakia. It began with you being covetous, and then it ended with you committing adultery. But after the adultery comes the unaliving that you're gonna receive, man, because you couldn't let that one slide, mate. Proverbs chapter 6 and verse. Where is it, man? Verse 32. Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 32. But whoso committeth adultery with a woman, lack of understanding, you ain't got no understanding if you're committing adultery with a woman. Because you're getting happy that you got the woman, but mate, you're going to receive a judgment too. So it wasn't worth it, mate. But whoso committeth adultery with a woman, lack of understanding, he that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. You're destroyed now. It's waiting, it's coming for you. Like, was it worth it? Like, I don't think so. But they like to do it though. People like to lust after next man's wives. Oh, I think I'm better than him. I'm taller than him. So I deserve, mate. That don't mean, oh, I got more. I'm stronger than him. I deserve, mate. There ain't no deserve around here. It's not about no deserve even. It ain't even really about no deserve neither. But how this world works, that's how people do. You got these people that do these street interviews with all these drunk harlots, right? And the woman says she's got a man, and then the guy's still talking. And then the woman, he's like, oh, can I be your friend? And then the stupid woman knows damn well no man don't want to be her friend. You're not interested. He just saw that the ting was round and wanted to do a little something up on that. And then these women do it. These younger women, right, that are like 18 to 23 and that, these younger ones, right? And then they just run around and do that. And then now, like, they're going to be destroyed too. And that's why this generation is called a generation of adulterers, because it's all up through this earth, man. And even we are really adulterers too, as even though we're angered by adultery, we're adulterers too, because the women that we've ever had in our lifetime, they weren't no virgins, man. And this world's so off, yeah, that you'll have men that are straight up Casanovas out here in this world. They physically meet the woman's standards in every category, physically, and then they even might have even extras on top of that. And I'd be real interested to see what would happen if we was to be able to get to talk to a person like of this kind and say to them, how many women have you ever had that was a virgin? And the thing is, even some of those men wouldn't be able to say, I've had a virgin woman before. It's ridiculous out here. And these are men that a lot of women want to be with, but even they can't seem to find a righteous woman. Men that are in their 60s and 70s right now, some of them might have not even had a virgin woman that's a virgin. So never mind a man that's in his 50s, 40s, and 30s. He damn sure ain't gonna find one. And never mind even lower, a man that's in his 20s. Or a man that's in his like mid to late teens. A young man that's in his mid to late teens and he ain't finding one either. Is it even a thing that exists? Seeing seeing a virgin in this world is about as likely as seeing a damn pink elephant, mate, with zebra stripes on it. And a 4-leaf clover. But anyway, man, yeah, I'm gonna end this lesson, man. I just wanted to talk about that because it's something that that I've noticed in this world. When we look at this world and we consider what the society that Yahweh is gonna make for us, right, and how we're not gonna ever do any of these things amongst ourselves. But the thing is, we're not gonna make it happen among the heathen neither. We're gonna rule the world with a rod of iron. We ain't gonna allow no coveting and no adultery to slide in our kingdom, no theft. We ain't gonna allow it to slide. And if you even get up into fights and you go upside one of your own fellow people's head, right, and then you injure him, well, you're gonna have to pay for his time lost, man. But now I'm gonna really end the video. I've said I'm gonna end it a couple of times. I'm gonna end the video, man. Covetousness is also a sin, right? That's a sin too, and it can lead to us becoming a sin unto unalive, because covetous can lead to adultery if it's about coveting a man's wife. Shalom.